Have you ever looked at a team and just wondered what their secret sauce is? You know, the ones that just seem to click and pull off incredible things? Well, today, we're going to break down the blueprint for that. We're talking about the essential tactics for building those truly exceptional teams. So let's dive in.
Okay, so let's kick things off with the big question, right? What really is the difference between a team that's just good and one that's truly legendary? It's about way more than just hitting targets. It's about creating this incredible dynamic where the whole team is so much more powerful than its individual parts. Just keep that idea in your back pocket as we go through this.
So here's the game plan. We're going to start by laying the foundation. Then we'll look at your role as the team's architect. After that, we'll get into the nitty-gritty of building a real performance culture. And finally, we'll talk about how to keep that success going for the long haul. Let's get started with Section 1.
First things first, just like any skyscraper, a legendary team has to be built on an unshakable foundation. If you get this part wrong, everything else is just wobbly. This is where it all starts.
So what are we actually aiming for here? Let's be super clear. A high-performance team isn't just a collection of talented people. No, the real magic comes from a few key ingredients: a shared vision that everyone buys into, real collaboration, and a culture where people hold each other accountable. That's the gold standard.
And that brings us to maybe the most important piece of that foundation, what we call the North Star. A shared vision, it's not some fluffy corporate statement you hang on a wall. It's the team's compass. It's the one thing that makes sure everybody is pulling in the exact same direction, especially when things get tough.
Okay, so with that foundation in place, the spotlight really turns to you, the leader. See, your job isn't just to manage what's happening, it's to be the architect, to intentionally design a team that's built for success. So, what does that actually look like?
This is such a critical distinction. On one hand, you've got a manager. They direct tasks, they manage processes, they keep things stable. And that's fine. But a leader, a true team architect, does something different. They inspire that vision, they develop their people, and they drive real change. It's a fundamental shift in your mindset, from just overseeing work to genuinely inspiring people.
So what does it take to be that architect? Well, it's really a mix of these key qualities. You got to be an empathetic coach who can develop your people, a crystal clear communicator, a strategic thinker who always sees the bigger picture, and a facilitator who knows when to step in and make a decisive call to keep things moving.
All right, let's get to the heart of it all: culture. And look, this isn't about foosball tables or free snacks. Culture is the operating system for your team. It's the invisible force in the room that determines whether people's best ideas can actually thrive or just wither on the vine.
And the absolute, non-negotiable bedrock of a high-performance culture is something called psychological safety. It's really just a shared belief on the team that it's okay to take interpersonal risks. It's that feeling that says, hey, I can ask a stupid question here, or I can challenge an idea without getting my head bitten off, or I can admit I made a mistake without being shamed for it.
So how do you actually build it? Well, here are 3 really powerful things you can do. First, frame the work as a learning problem, not just an execution problem. We're here to figure things out together. Second, you have to model it yourself. Be the first one to say, you know what, I don't know the answer, or I was wrong about that. And third, you have to actively encourage open feedback, and even dissent. Make it clear that the goal isn't to agree all the time, it's to get to the best possible answer. This quote just says it all, doesn't it? Trust truly is the currency here. If you don't have it, all that great stuff we talked about, collaboration, risk-taking, accountability, it's all just impossible. You don't have a team, you just have a group of people working near each other.
And this is not just some fuzzy feel-good concept. The data here is incredibly clear. Teams with high levels of trust see huge jumps in productivity and engagement, and look at this, a massive drop in burnout. These are tangible, bottom-line results that prove culture has a direct and powerful impact.
So, you've built this amazing thing. The foundation is strong, the culture is thriving. Now, how do you keep it that way? This final part of our blueprint is all about creating the systems to sustain that excellence and keep the team growing.
See, sustaining success isn't about some big one-time event. It's all about the small, consistent habits you build into the team's DNA. Things like having consistent feedback loops, making a real point to celebrate wins, both big and small, doing constructive postmortems on failures without placing blame, and fiercely protecting the team's time and focus. And that leads to this crucial point. High performance is not some destination you just arrive at one day. It's a dynamic, Continuous cycle. You plan and execute, you gather feedback, you review and reflect on what happened, and then, this is the important part, you adapt and you iterate, and you do it again, and again, and again.
You know, if there's one single idea to take away from our entire conversation today, I think it's this one. Your ultimate job as a leader isn't to build the team yourself. It's to be more like a gardener. You create the right environment, the right soil, the sunlight, the water, and then you empower the team to grow and thrive all on its own. So, as we wrap this up, I want to leave you with a challenge. Thinking about this blueprint we've just walked through, what's the very first tangible step you're going to take? What's the first brick you will lay to start building your legendary team tomorrow?